Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, even with the chaos that's existing in our country right now, in the world, and throughout history still. I hope there are things that you're very thankful for, and may that gratitude stay with you for the rest of your life and pass it on. It's infectious. All right. Oh, it's Thursday, so it's like my story day. Isaac's dream. Oh, once there was a peasant who lived 200 miles away from St. Petersburg, and he had a dream that told him that underneath the bridge outside of the Tsar's palace there was a buried treasure. And so it gripped him to such an extent that he said to his wife, listen, I had this dream. You think I should go to St. Petersburg? He says, you're such a dumbbell. You have a dream like that and go there, just forget about it. But he had the dream the next night. So didn't want to talk to his wife anymore. He went to his best friend and said, Yitzhak, what do you think about this dream? Should I go see? And if there's a buried treasure, he said, you're nuts. I'm Haaretz. You're just a man of the land. Besides, you have no transportation. You have to walk 200 miles. Forget about it. Third time as a charm, he went to the rabbi. Rabbi, what do you think I should do? Even the rabbi said, nah, I don't think this is something that you should follow through. Just stay here and live your life. Well, he couldn't listen to his wife, his best friend, or the rabbi. So off he went, 200 miles on foot with no resources. By the time he got there, he looked like a ragged beggar. His clothes were torn. His shoes had holes in the bottom. But guess what? When he got to St. Petersburg, right there was the bridge exactly as it was in the dream in front of the Tsar's palace. He was freaked out. But when he got there, he looked like nervous, and he certainly didn't look like he belonged. And the captain of the Tsar's guard saw this guy and walked over and says, what are you doing here? Immediately he spilled the beans and said, well, I had this dream that told me that if I went to St. Petersburg, there was a buried treasure right by the bridge. And so here I am, and I was just trying to check that. I says, you're such a stupid peasant. I had a dream also. I had a dream that like in this village, 200 miles away, buried underneath the hearth in this guy Isaac's house, there was a buried treasure. You don't see me going off on some wild goose chase like that. Now get out of here before I arrest you. Thank you very much. And so Isaac went home, and there, true to what the Tsar's guard had said, there was a buried treasure underneath his hearth. So I guess it's one of those stories that you can travel as far as you want to, go to Oz if you want to, but there's no place like home, and you're very often going to find a treasure that you didn't suspect right underneath your feet. But you have to stop looking elsewhere. All right, for my journal friends, here we go. How are you satisfied or dissatisfied with your life? And I hope that you can answer both questions, because there are things if we're thankful and grateful for, that's pretty satisfying and fulfilling. But I don't think everybody gets everything in such a perfect manner where they say there's no regret, there's no dissatisfaction, I wish I could have done it differently, or things that have turned out different than they did. Let me know. Either write it in your journal, elevate the conversation with the people who you care about, or discuss it psychologically inside your own head, or reach out to me. Let me know what's going on with you. I'll be glad to reply and let you know how that works out for me. All right. So, yoga is not done merely to correct distortions in your anatomy, keep your mind calm, have an aspirin for your mind, but it connects you to the living spirit. We're very slovenly, in fact, in converting philosophy into action. And people are so intellectually and emotionally starved, cut off from the fountain of their own inner life. So many people just talk from their heads, but their heart is empty and sterile. And so we're going to reverse that by practicing yoga or whatever discipline floats your boat and puts you in touch with the depth of your own self. Do it. Now, it's a strange thing that we have to reconcile ourselves to the fact that in order to live, we have to kill something else, whether it's meat, or even a vegetable, doesn't matter. Something has to give its life, because that's what life is, the voraciousness, the voracious manifestation of life-eating life, constantly having to kill in order to live. How do you reconcile yourself with that? A lot of gratitude and a lot of thankfulness for the things that are becoming the nourishment that keeps us alive. We have to thank that. Every plant, every animal, and all the people who grow it, or kill it and transport it and bring it to us so we don't have to do it ourselves. All right. It's all about finding your dharma, your svadharma. Right? And as the Gita says, do your own dharma, even if poorly than another's done well. Because if you don't live your life, it will never be lived by anyone else again. So embrace it and appreciate the unique twist of fate that you have to face. It's a pathless path. It's created as you walk it. And of course, because when you do that, you're still filled with the mind of confusion and unrest in this uncertain world. So there can be a lot of doubt. But the only thing I can say that may not seem to soothe it, but it makes you realize you're not alone. The only heart worth having is a broken heart. Because without the heart being broken, open, there's no room for love to come in. So the broken heart creates room for love to come in. Don't forget that. And again, even though we're in the city, I keep saying nature is not something that we invented as human beings. It's prior to consciousness. But it's also totally unself-conscious and without artifice, not like we are. Our imaginations keep perpetually creating what we think nature is. We really don't know what nature is. We have an idea of what we think is nature. Sometimes innocent and beautiful, sometimes red in tooth and claw, and catastrophic in many other ways. But if you want to find a way how to balance all of this, you have to realize the transpersonal center of your own psyche. You could call it living spirit if you want to, but if you discover what that is, you realize your ego is subordinate to that. Your ego serves that totality. And whatever you discover, you have to let go of. Like in the 12-step program, this is my current understanding, but it's going to change and grow. Each new level must submit itself to further transformations if your development is going to proceed. You got to keep letting go, letting go, letting go, till there's nothing to let go of. And then you even let go of the idea that there's nothing to let go of. Pursued to its inevitable inclusion, our ego is going to make the encounter with the self, and I mean that with the capital S, something much less personal. And then you'll have a breakthrough from the old condition. The old condition will be destroyed to make way for its new and liberating effects, which is called moksha in yoga, the freedom from the limited view, the freedom from the illusion that our mind creates, the freedom from our ego's take on things. You don't believe that? Well, with spirit, all things are possible. It's spirit's power that can bring about the harmony and healing out of any condition at any time and any place. So I hope that you all on this day and every day do not encourage and amplify what is wrong in your life. So instead of trying to fix anything or fix anybody, just live intentionally. Trust your heart, trust the worship in your own heart, and share it unabashedly with people. Have a great day.